So good morning. In the last lecture, that is lecture number 7, we have seen the analysis part of Hartnell governor, and we discussed about there are two cases in Hartnell governor. One is considering the obliquity and another one is neglecting the obliquity. Okay, so we will divide our further lectures also in the similar fashion. One lecture is on neglecting the obliquity and another one is considering the obliquity. So today's lecture deals with the problems associated with without considering the obliquity. That means neglecting the obliquity effect of the arms. So what is obliquity effect of the arms? Okay, obliquity effect of arms is nothing but, so when the governor takes new position like speed reduction or speed increase, so the fly balls will come inside or outside. At that time, the bell crank lever, which is moving either inward or outward, then its corresponding projected lengths are going to change, like A will be changed as A1, A2, like B is changed to B1, B2. So if you consider that change, that is called considering the obliquity effect of the arms. If you don't consider that, that is called neglecting the obliquity effect of the arms. That means A1 is equal to A2 is equal to A, B1 is equal to B2 is equal to B, then C1 is equal to C2 is equal to 0. Okay, so with that consideration only, we derived the derivation, the stiffness of the spring. Okay, and today's lecture we will solve two problems without considering the obliquity, that means neglecting the obliquity effect of the arms. Let us see the first problem. So in a Hartnell governor, the extreme radii of rotation of the balls are 40 mm and 60 mm, and the corresponding speeds are 210 rpm and 230 rpm. The mass of each ball is 3 kg. The length of the ball and the sleeve arms are equal. Determine the initial compression and the constant of the central spring. That means spring constant. It is nothing but spring constant. So this is neglecting obliquity effect of arms. Neglecting the obliquity effect of arms. Okay, so what are given and what we have to evaluate, let us list out first. So the first thing is the extreme radius of the rotation of the balls are 40 and 60. So R1 is 40 mm, R2 is 60 mm, and the corresponding speeds are 210 and 230. N1 210 rpm, then N2 is 230 rpm. Okay, then the mass of the ball is 3 kg, small m. The length of the ball and the sleeve arms are equal. So the ball arm and sleeve arm, that is A is equal to B. Ball arm length we are calling A and sleeve arm we are calling B. So he has given A is equal to B. So what you are supposed to find out? So we are supposed to find out initial compression of the spring, and the second one is stiffness of the spring. Stiffness of spring. These are the two things we have to evaluate, and that is by neglecting the obliquity effect of the arms. Okay, let me first find out F1, F2. That is the centrifugal force corresponding to radius of rotation of 1 and radius of rotation of 2. We know F is mr omega square. So 1 stands for lower speed, that is m r1 omega 1 square. So we have m is 3, radius, let me substitute in meters, that is 40 into 10 power minus 3, omega 1 2 pi n1 by 60, 2 pi n1 by 60 whole square. What is n1? In place of n1, substitute 210. Then you get the force F1, that is 58.1 Newton. Then similar F2 is mr2 omega 2 square. M is same 3, R2 is 60 into 10 power minus 3, then omega 2, that is 2 pi n2 by 60 whole square. What is n2? n2 is 230 rpm. So substitute this n2 value as 230, okay, then you get this is 95.6 newtons. Okay, so this is what we have obtained centrifugal forces corresponding to radius 1 and radius 2, isn't it? So we know spring constant, we have already derived this equation. Spring constant, that is S is equal to 2a square by b square into F2 minus F1 by R2 minus R1. Okay, this we have already derived in the last class, assuming neglecting the obliquity effect of arms. Here also I have neglected the obliquity effect of the arms. So let me substitute this 2. I said A is equal to B. So A by B will become 1. Then this is 1 square. F2 minus F1. F2 95.6. F1 58.1 by R2 minus R1, that is 60 into 10 power minus 3 minus 40 into 10 power minus 3. So this radius is converted in meters, okay, or if you keep it in mm, you will get in mm. If you want, let it be, keep it in mm, no problem. Then I will write Newton per mm. You can write even for mm also. So then if you substitute and calculate, then the spring constant which is obtained 3.75 Newton per mm. If you write here 10 power minus 3, 10 power minus 3, then you get it is Newton per meter, then the value will be just into 10 power 3, isn't it? So this is the first part, spring constant, okay, that is nothing but here stiffness of the spring, both are same. Spring constant or stiffness of the spring are both are same. First we solve the part B, okay, then with this information I will write for my necessary condition to find out the initial compression, isn't it? So for this I write the equation, that is like this is A and this is B, this is mg, this is F1, this is mg plus Fs1 plus F by 2. Okay, and this is the fulcrum point, say A, which we denoted, and I said I am neglecting the obliquity effect of the arms. That means if this is A, I am just assuming this is also A. Okay, similar, I am assuming this is also B. So that means I am not considering the change of A to A1 and B to B1. I am simply saying them both are same, A and A, like this. And in our case, capital M is 0 because he has not given the sleeve mass, and friction is also not given. Let me take that is also 0, and in the given data A is equal to B. Okay, so based upon this information, let me take the moments from A and write the equilibrium equation. What is it? This is F1, and what is its perpendicular distance? A, which is causing anti-clockwise moment. I will take it as a positive. Then mg into C, but as I said, neglecting the obliquity effect of the arms. So in that case, C1 is equal to C2 is equal to 0. Otherwise, we have to consider this part C1 to get our mg, which is what is the type of moment? Clockwise moment. That is minus mg into C1. Okay, and what about this? This is also clockwise moment. Mg plus Fs1 plus F by 2 into B is equal to 0. Okay, so here my M is 0, my F is 0. Then similar C1, I am not considering the obliquity. This is also 0. Then it becomes F1 A is equal to, take on the other side, this becomes F S1 by 2 into B. And as per our data given from the basic fundamental data, A is equal to B. So A is equal to B, or Fs1 is equal to 2F1. So F1 already we have calculated. What is the F1? 58.1. So that is 2 into 58.1. So it gives 116.2 newtons. 116.2 newtons. That is Fs1. Okay, Fs1. What is my requirement? My requirement is initial compression. Initial compression. So how to get the initial compression? Initial compression is equal to so initial spring force by spring stiffness or spring constant, both are same. Spring stiffness. Okay, spring stiffness. So we have initial spring force 116.2 and spring stiffness is 3.75 Newton per mm. Then we get the initial compression is in mm, which gives around 31 mm. 31 mm. So this is a simple straightforward problem, that is neglecting the obliquity effect of the arms. So what is neglecting obliquity effect of arms? That is nothing but when it takes the positions like inward or outward, the projected length is assumed same as the virginal length of the link, that is A as well as B. Suppose if you consider, then this A will become A1 and this B will become B1. Similar, another extreme position, A will become A2, B will become B2. So that type of problem we will solve in the next class. Here my case is simply taken as A and B even when it changes its position, and this C is taken as a 0. That means literally it is assumed it is like as it is in this way. As it is in this way. Even though it has changed to position like this, we are not considering this. Okay, that is what neglecting obliquity. So let me repeat in just in 2 minutes what we did. He has given radius 1 and radius 2, corresponding speed 1 and speed 2, and the mass of the fly ball is given. Friction is not given, that's why I have taken F is 0. Then capital M is also I have taken 0 because sleeve mass is not stated. Then horizontal and vertical arm of the bell crank lever is said to be equal. So A is equal to B. So with the given information, I have calculated first spring constant S, because I know the equation which is already obtained, that is 2A square by B square into F2 minus F1 by R2 minus R1. A by B is 1, so this is 1 square. F2, F1 values I have calculated first by basic equation of MR1 omega square and MR2 omega 2 square. So those values I have substituted. Then I got the spring constant, that is spring stiffness, both are same. So after obtaining this, I am going to find out the initial compression. That means when the sleeve just start to lift, at that moment, what is the stiffness of the spring? That means once it exceeds, then only it comes to the operation. So the initial compression can be obtained. The case 1, that is the condition 1 at lower speed. So lower speed, the fly ball's position is like this. Then I will take the moments from the fulcrum point A, then F1 into A, because I have neglected the obliquity. A1 is simply said to be A, minus mg into C1, okay, minus mg plus Fs1 plus F by 2 into B is 0. So I know C1 0, M 0, F 0. Simply it becomes F1A is equal to Fs1 by 2 into B. A is equal to B, then Fs1 is equal to 2F1. F1 is already obtained here, and that I have substituted. Then I got my value of Fs1. Then how to find out the initial compression? That means when I start my operation of the governor, I will tighten my nut by pressing the spring certain extent. That can be estimated simply by taking the initial force by stiffness of the spring. So initial force is 116.2 and the spring stiffness is 3.75. Then you get the initial compression, you have to give it to this governor spring is 31 mm to work effectively. Okay, so this is a straightforward simple problem. We will see one more problem on Hartnell governor, neglecting the obliquity effect of the arms. Let us see in another problem on Hartnell governor, neglecting the obliquity effect of arms. Here there are 3 parts are asked. Okay, this is similar to the previous problem, but only the thing is data given in a different style. Okay, let us see what is the problem. In a Hartnell governor, the length of the horizontal and vertical arms of the bell crank lever are 40 and 80 mm. The mass of each ball is 1.2 kg. The extreme radius of rotation of the balls are 70 mm and 105 mm. The distance of the fulcrum of each bell crank lever is 75 mm from the axis of rotation of the governor. The minimum equilibrium speed is 420 rpm and the maximum equilibrium speed is 4% higher than this. Neglect obliquity effect of arms, determine A bit spring stiffness, B bit initial compression, and finally equilibrium speed corresponding to radius of rotation of 95 mm. So more or less A bit and B bit already we have solved in the previous problem in a similar manner, but only the thing is the data given in a different style. And finally, what is the equilibrium speed corresponding to radius of rotation of 95 mm. Okay, So let us see how we can solve this problem. So this is a Hartnell governor with the length of horizontal and vertical arm of the bell crank lever is 40 and 80. So we are calling horizontal arm as B. Horizontal arm is B, which is 40, and vertical arm we have defined A is 80 mm. Okay, then the mass of the ball is 1.2 kg. Then the radius of rotation of the ball, okay, are 70 and 105 mm. So our conventional procedure is lower radius of rotation we are calling R1 and higher radius of rotation R2. So the distance of the fulcrum of each bell crank lever is 75 mm. Okay, we'll write it from the axis of the governor. Then the minimum equilibrium speed N1 is 420 RPM. Then, and the maximum equilibrium speed N2 is 4% higher than this. That means 1.04 times of N1. Okay, you can write 1.04 times of 420. That is N2. Then neglect the obliquity effect of the arms. Determine spring stiffness. A bit, you are supposed to find out spring stiffness. Then B bit, initial compression. And the third bit is like when the radius of rotation is 95 mm. Let me call this is R3. 95 mm, then what is the speed of N3? This is neglecting obliquity effect of arms. Obliquity effect of arms. We are not considering the obliquity. Okay, this is three parts of the problem, straightforward problem. How to proceed it, let us see. So let me calculate first omega 1 and omega 2. So what is omega 1? 2 pi n1 by 60, that is 2 pi 420 by 60. So I will get it is 44 radians per second. Then omega 2, that is 2 pi n2 by 60. So what is given? N2 is 4% higher than the N1. So I got omega 1, I got omega 2. Okay. So what is the first part of the problem? Stiffness of the spring. We know stiffness of the spring is equal to 2 into A square by B square into F2 minus F1 by R2 minus R1. So let me write A and B values are known, 80 by 40. So both I have written in mm, then no problem because it is a ratio only. Then F2, that is M R2 omega 2 square minus M R1 omega 1 square by R2 minus R1. So substitute the data. What is M? M is equal to mass of the fly ball. How much it is? 1.2. Then R2. How much R2? R2 is 105. Then omega 2. What is omega 2? 45.76. Similar M 1.2 R1 70 omega 1 40 omega 1 is 44. Okay, then R2 R1. So R2 R1 values are like 105 and this is 70. Simply you substitute all the values corresponding to M R omega. Okay, so M is mass 1.2, R is the radius of rotation 105, isn't it? And the other one is radius of rotation is 70. Let me put everything in terms of this in the equation and calculate the stiffness of the spring. So S is equal to 2 into A square by B square. Okay, F2 minus F1 into by R2 minus R1. So if here I have to substitute this R2 R1 here in meter so that I will get here Newton. Here I will substitute in meter, that is R2 105 into 10 power minus 3 and R1 70 into 10 power minus 3. Okay, then here I will substitute in mm. Finally I will get in Newton per mm. So let us substitute the mass in kg, radius here in meters so that you get the force in newtons. Omega 2 radians per second, like M R1 omega 1 square, where I have written R2 and R1 in mm to get my unit, because this is 2 a constant, A by B square is a constant, and force difference is in Newton, and this I want to get in Newton per mm, means I have to substitute this R2 R1 is in mm. Let me put it for your simplicity, 2 into 80 by 40, that is this is A by B 2, okay, whole square into, if you calculate this force you get F2 is 263.8 minus 162.6 by R2 minus R1 105 minus 70. So from here I get this is stiffness of the spring is 23.14 Newton per mm. So that is the first part of the problem. Then B bit, similar to the previous case. Okay, I will take a case of like this is A, this is B, and this is mg plus fs1 plus f by 2, and here mg f1. Okay, so similar lines what we did in the previous problem. So take the moments at A, then it will be f1a, so mg into c1 plus mg plus fs1 plus f by 2 into b, and here this part is 0 because our consideration is neglecting the obliquity. Then c1 is 0 because neglecting obliquity. Okay, then of course capital M is also 0, this is also 0, and what about friction? This is also 0. Then what is with us? Only fs1 by 2. So f1a okay, or 2f1a. If I cross multiply that, then it will be fs1 into b. So what is a and b? A is 80, that is 2 into 80 into f1 is equal to fs1 into b. B is 40. So this is 2 times. So f S1 is equal to 4 times of F1. So what is F1? We have calculated by substituting here. We got F1 is 162.6. So Fs1 is equal to 4 times of 162.1. So that gives the value of this Fs1 is 650.4 newtons. 650.4 newtons. This is the B bit. Let us come to the last part of the problem, C bit. So A bit and B bit are same what we did in the previous problem. Only the difference is here the speed 2 is given in terms of 4% higher than the lower speed. That is what an additional thing. So what is the last part? So you are supposed to find out for the radius of 95 mm, what is the speed? 3. So to get this, first let me write from the basic fundamental equation, S is equal to 2a square by b square into f3 minus f1 by r3 minus r1. Basic equation I use. So our previous derivation shows that this is f2 minus f1 by r2 minus r1. So this is valid for any speed irrespective of lower and higher speeds. So I have written lower speed and another speed is like f1 and f3. So S is equal to 2a square by b square into f3 minus f1 by r3 minus r1. So already I know the value of S. Okay, what is the value of S? 23.14 into 2a square by b square. A is 80, b is 40 whole square. F3, what is F3? M R3 omega 3 square minus F1. What is F1? F1 we have already calculated. So that is the force 1 is 162.6 by R3 minus R1. So 95 minus R1 70. This is in mm. This is in mm because the spring stiffness is Newton per mm. So here what data I know? I know m. What is m? 1.2. I substitute here m place 1.2 and I substitute R3 in meters. How much it is? 95 into 10 power minus 3. Then the unknown in this equation is omega 3 square. Okay, so by substituting this data, if you write the equation, you will get omega 3 square, and from that if you take the root, you get omega 3. You get omega 3, okay, which is in radians per second. We know omega 3 is equal to 2 pi n3 by 60, which is 45.39. So here n3 is the required one. Substitute this 60 into this is n3 is equal to 60 into 45.39 by 2 pi. Okay, then you get this is speed is 433.5 RPM. Okay, so this is another problem, neglecting the obliquity effect of the arms. The previous problem and this problem more or less similar. The difference what you will find is the data given. In this case, N2 is not directly given. It is given 4% higher than the lower speed. That is why we have written 1.04 N1. And A and B beats both are same like the previous. Okay, but only additional C bit has come. There you are supposed to find out another radius of R3. What is the speed 3, N3? For this, what we used, the fundamental equation is stiffness of the spring is already evaluated in the first stage. That stiffness is equated to the fundamental equation like 2a square by b square into two different forces of centrifugal and its corresponding radiuses ratio, that is F3 minus F1 by R3 minus R1. In place of F3 we write mR3 omega 3 square. In place of F1 value is already known. R3 and R1 values are already known, but you have to take care about here. When you substitute in F3, substitute your radius in meters, and whereas here the radius is in mm, because of course even you substitute in meters, then you get Newton per meter. Okay, but here in the numerator, when you are substituting the radius, it should be definitely in meters only, then only you get the force unit is in Newton, isn't it? So omega 3, by substituting here, I get the value from the omega 3, I will get the value of N3. So this is another problem by neglecting the obliquity effect of the arms. In the next class, we will solve a single problem by considering the obliquity effect of the arms. That means we don't take it like A1 is equal to A2 is equal to A, or B1 is equal to B2 is equal to B, or C1, C2 is equal to 0. So we don't assume like that. We consider, we calculate A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. Then at that time, this equation will not valid. This cannot be obtained directly because this is derived by taking it simply obliquity effect neglecting. Okay, so we'll solve one more problem in the next class, that is on obliquity consideration. A complete lecture around 40-50 minutes it takes. With that we finish the Hartnell governor. Then finally we will go for the last governor of Hartung governor in the last lecture of this 4th unit. Thank you.